Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to in-text cite, so be prepared to stop, rewind this as much as you need to because I'm going to try to go through it pretty quickly. Okay, let's say you're typing your paper and you've got an awesome paper, obviously, like all of you will, because you're all going to write incredible papers, I'm sure, and you get to this point where you've made a statement and now you need to back it up with a resource. Okay, so you see right now I've got this one tab open where I did my outline. We're going to work from that for now. One thing that I'm going to open up that's going to be an excellent tool for you guys is Purdue OWL, and we are going to use the MLA formatting. So Purdue OWL has a ton of information about how to in-text cite, how to write your works cited page, how your paper should be structured. It's got sample papers so that you can look at the formatting, all kinds of things. So we're going to use that. And then the other thing is I'm going to pull up a journal article. Remember that one of your 4 sources has to come from a scholarly journal article. So we're going to go to the high school webpage, and then we're going to go to the library website, which we can find down here on the left, high school library. And finally, I'm going to go to MoreNet, which is actually going to take me to EBSCOhost. Okay, we're going to close out of these 2 tabs, and we are going to work from this idea that we worked on as a class with foster care as our example. So let's say that I'm typing about aging out of the system, okay, right here, and I've made this awesome assumption that aging out of the foster care system is currently a major issue facing many states, and one of the major issues associated with aging out is transitional homelessness. So kids often experience homelessness as they transition from foster care into adulthood. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to search for aging out, and I'm going to get way too many articles, 19,000 in fact, so I'm going to start to limit that. Now, first, I only need current information. I don't need stuff from 1938 for sure about aging out. I'm going to change this to, let's say, 2009. That's going to give me stats on the last 5 years. Okay, 2009 is going to give me stats on the last 5 years about aging out. So we're going to start there by applying our filter. Now I still have way too many, so let's also focus on aging out and foster care. Okay. Now I'm down to 100. Remember that we specifically want journal articles. Okay, so we don't need magazines or anything like that. And this is going to narrow down to 6 results. So now I have 6 results talking about aging out, foster care, and that are from the last 5 years. So I don't need statistics about aging out from 1990. What's that, 24 years ago? Okay, so I need stuff that is current and relevant. So here's a good article, homelessness during the transition from foster care to adulthood. Normally we would go to the PDF full text, but for the sake of time I'm just going to pull something out of the abstract to show you as an example. Okay. So I've made my statement that aging out of the foster care is an issue, and one of those issues is transitional homelessness. So now I'm going to say according to, and I'm going to list my authors, right? And I can't say their names. Dworsky, right here. Okay, so according to my authors, and I'm going to put in my quote. According to, you can see my 3 authors. Now I'm going to make my quote, and I'm saying that youth aging out of the foster care are at high risk of homelessness during the transition to adulthood. Between 31 and 46% of their study participants were homeless at least at one point by the age of 26. So that's what I'm going to put in. I'm actually going to copy and paste. Believe it or not, you can copy and paste when we are quoting. Now, this is a problem that the text looks different, so I want to make sure all my text looks the same. So I'm going to make sure that all of it is in Times New Roman, that it's 12-point font, which is what your MLA paper should be. I still have an issue here. You can see the color might look a little bit off, so I'm going to make sure that it is all black, and I don't want any bolded words. Okay, see aging out and foster care are bolded right there. The reason that they're bolded, if we flip back over here in the abstract, is it has bolded everything that I search for. So I search for aging out and foster care, so it's bolded every time that those words are mentioned in this abstract. Okay, so I have said that according to my authors, youths age out of the foster care or aging out are at a higher risk for transitional homeless. So I made this statement that one of the major issues is transitional homeless. Now I'm backing it up with a scholarly article. I'm going to end the quote, and in the quote I would put in, this is called a parenthetical citation, so what's going in parentheses. I would put the author, except I've already mentioned the author in my sentence, so I don't need to mention the author again, but I would put a page number. We just pulled this from the abstract, but if we went to the PDF full text, there would most likely be a page number. So let's say, just for the sake of our example, that we pulled this from page 5. I'm going to write 5 in my parentheses and period. So now I've made a statement about transitional homelessness. I've backed it up from a scholarly article. I've given the authors credit for their work, and I've also listed the page number that it can be found on. Now, sometimes you're not going to have a author to list information by. Okay? So let's look at a couple examples of in-text citation real fast, and then I'll show you what to do there. When you look at in-text citations, we can see here's an example where our author is Wordsworth, okay, and our quote is being taken from page 263 in our example. If I use Wordsworth in my example or in my sentence, then I don't put the author's name in the parentheses. I just put the page number. So Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. I've already given the author's name, so now I am just giving a page number. In this example, we didn't give the author's name. We're just saying romantic poetry is characterized by the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Since I didn't mention the author in the sentence, now I have to mention the author with the page number in the parenthetical reference or the parentheses. This is always, the difference between these two is just going to depend on the flow of your paper. Sometimes it makes more sense to introduce the statement with the author. Sometimes it sounds better if you don't stop and introduce and you just go ahead and make a statement and then we mention it here. Okay. What you put either here, the author's name, or the author's name in the parentheses, is going to depend on how it's listed on your Works Cited page. So let's look at a sample Works Cited page. Okay. You can see that here they have several different resources. Some, like these two, Clinton, Dean, Eppert, all have last names or authors, but here, Blueprint and globalwarming.org, An Inconvenient Truth, these are things that don't necessarily have an author. So if I was going to cite those in text, instead of saying according to Dorsky and my other authors, I would say according to the article, Blueprint lays out clear path for climate action, and then I would give my quote. Okay. Or I would give the quote and then I would say Blueprint lays out clear path for climate action and my page number. So you're always going to, what you refer to in your paper, whether it's the authors or the title of a works or whatever it's going to be, it's always going to be whatever the farthest left on your Works Cited page. So in this example, on this source, the farthest left thing is a title. Okay. In these three examples right here, the farthest left thing is the author. Again, going back to this one, this is a website. Okay. So you're always going to list your in-text citation by how it relates to your Works Cited page. If you have an inconvenient truth as the first thing on your Works Cited page, then when you in-text cite, you would say, according to an inconvenient truth, oops, if I can type, and then I would give my quote. Okay, just like if we go back to this example, if I was quoting something from this interview with Bill Clinton, I would say according to Bill Clinton. So it just depends on how it is listed in your Works Cited page as to how you list it in your paper. But you want to, when you're listing something or when you're citing something in your paper, you're referring the reader to your Works Cited page. So you always want to give them the text, okay, whether it's an author name or an article name, of what they're going to find on the far left when they look at your Works Cited page. All right, hopefully all of that makes sense. Like I said, rewind it, pause it as much as you need to, and I will be in class to help you guys with your in-text citations as much as possible.